She's back, she's neurodivergent, and she has red hair.
Me talking about my ADHD diagnosis while showing you clips of my life from the last 4 months because I've been off YouTube. Enjoy!
So my hair is going to progressively dry more as this video goes on, so you will get a little hair reveal. This is a recent thing, by the way, and I mean like last week. So you haven't missed much, don't worry. So my 24 dopamine deficient self has just been diagnosed with ADHD. Yay! Some of you might know that I was going for the assessment and I spoke about that on my channel, and the results came back positive. So I've been diagnosed with combined ADHD, which is it's all of it basically, the whole shebang: hyperactive, inattentive and impulsive. In other words, it's the ring of fire ADHD, because the way in which, fun fact, the brain lights up on the scans. Don't know what scans, but these scans. So basically, I've got a halo on my head all the time. It's been a journey in which I have not been on YouTube for the past 3 months. It's been a real roller coaster, to say the least. So ADHD is something you're born with. It's not something that develops, which is not what I initially thought. I mean, I did know that, but also I thought that some things could like enhance it, which it can. But yeah, I was born with an ADHD brain, and it took 24 years to discover. And the clinician said to me, yeah, there's evidence as far back as your first year in reception. You've always had ADHD, which is a shame. That I think the first stage of all of it was grieving for my younger self, because it's like the support I didn't have. And I've heard that's a very common thing. You kind of want to wrap your arms around your younger self, because she was out there fighting it all on her own, being compared to neurotypical kids, which she wasn't. So yeah, I've never had a neurotypical brain, which is something I'm still trying to get used to, because my whole life I have compared neurotypical to myself, or myself to neurotypical. And I have a lot of neurodivergent friends. That should have been the first sign. When they spoke about their experiences, I was always comparing it to mine. So I am mourning, I'm grieving. To be stripped of something, you're suffering, not being the average, and secretly I was always at a disadvantage. But it does make me question, like, what does a neurotypical brain feel like then? And now I'm watching people live their life so seamlessly, effortlessly. Like, I wonder how that feels, you know? And for me, massively, it pops up in gym culture. I'm watching these videos online, and it's, you just gotta, like, have discipline, you gotta work harder. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. Get to work, do it when you're tired, do it when you're sad. Oh, that's all the neurotypical people, and my brain just won't let me. So there's something chemically wrong with my brain. I am so dopamine deficient that I just can't get up sometimes and can't do things. And it's hard when there's content being pushed in your face, like, you're just not trying hard enough, you're lazy, like, the problem is you. And it's like, oh no, it's just, we're not the same, you know? But I am glad for having my diagnosis, because I have always felt like there's something not quite right. It's like with my family, I don't feel like I fit in. With my friends, in my relationships, I feel like they hate me. It's called rejection dysphoria. But I have kind of forced this label of hyper-individualism onto myself, or hyper-independence, I should say. It's just made me fulfill these self-fulfilling prophecies even more, that everyone hates me. Suddenly, like, I'm realising that I have just always felt like an imposter to the human experience, like being stuck in a cycle of Sunday night epiphanies, followed by a week of burnout, guilt, dread, overwhelm, shame, embarrassment, you know? Like, why can I not live up to these spreadsheets, to-do lists, mood boards, like a very specifically curated higher version of myself, one that I've etched out perfectly, one that's really self-disciplined, and always falling short, no matter how hard I try, or no matter how inspired and hyperfixated I feel in the moment. Sometimes it's just not enough. So though part of ADHD is being very highly critical of yourself, there's also the realization that you know your potential and you just always fall short. I'm gonna get upset. Like, you know, you could do X if you applied yourself and you had the processes in place, but you just can't seem to do that. Your brain doesn't work, and so you don't live up to it. So for me, I absolutely fluked my GCSEs. I got really good grades. I didn't revise. I didn't hand in homework in school. In fact, I would do it in the queue to class or at lunch. My friends would let me copy. One girl in particular comes into mind. Her name was Rosie, and she'd always help me out. No matter how I felt in that moment when it was a new project, I could be really inspired and think, this is it, I am going to really succeed at this. It would still end up being late nights the night before. A-levels, I didn't get the grades to get onto main course, which I'm so glad, because everything works out the way it should. I had to have an extra year, foundation year. And then even when I was in my final year of uni, I could not, I just couldn't. It's a thing with ADHD. It's like you can absolutely smash it under pressure. So like the week before, the night before, you can smash it out and you're so good. But the simplest things, it's like trying to move heaven and earth. What a cool kid, eh? I knew I'd make you jump.
I had cats screeching. Hello. Don't worry, I'll make you your supper now. Get out of the way.
Thank you, dearie. Thank you.
I forgot to get spring onions and you haven't got the tofu.
I forgot. Tofu's in the fridge. I forgot to bring the noodles.
Okay.
I can go get them in a bit.
She said this morning it was going to be their day of bonding.
Did I?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't see you this morning.
You text messaged it me. Voice
No, I
memo.
didn't. No,
Voice message. You did.
I don't know where I was at, but basically, then in uni, I was given extra time for the people who were neurodivergent because my tutor understood me. He just got it, you know? But the thing is, it's like, even with that, I should have had extra time anyway. Like, yeah, I got that at uni because my lecturer was a don. Extra time for like high school, college, etc. And where was the support, you know? All my potential gets lost too. Task paralysis, distractibility, dopamine deficiency, which encourages dopamine-seeking behaviours constantly, mood lability, procrastination cycles, an interest-based nervous system, functional impairment, and so forth. So you may have noticed I haven't been on YouTube in a hot minute. It's been a few months. And to put it simply, I couldn't post. And now that I've got my diagnosis, I feel like the mask is slipping. And because of that, I'm then having bad self-talk. That's becoming a cycle of its own. Also, I do realise that this is kind of a trend. You may notice I have to hobby sacrifice all the time. When I'm on it with YouTube, I'm not necessarily in the gym. But when I'm in the gym, I'm not really on it with YouTube. But I feel like now with all of this awareness, I can learn to find a balance, one where I no longer have to struggle for my hobbies to coexist. I'll find a way where I can dip into the gym and YouTube, but I do think that is a long time away at the moment. Like, I don't think it's going to come anytime soon. Something else, which is why I am off YouTube at the moment and actually been in a really bad state of burnout and a rut, is because I reinstalled Instagram. I thought that I could be like the neurotypical girlies and get back in the gym and start posting on my gym account. But that's such a slippery slope for me. My all or nothing mentality means that I'm just scrolling, and I cannot get off, even though it's paralyzing me, and I know that I'm really stuck and I cannot put it down, and it actually physically hurts my brain. I've said this to somebody and they could not relate, so I haven't really said it to anyone since. But if you do relate to that, please let me know. Like, I can feel it lighting up from all the dopamine, and it hurts. It's not like a headache. I do get headaches as well, but it's like, it's more back here and it's just like shooting up, you know? But this all or nothing mentality is really bad, and when I'm stuck doom scrolling all the time, I ultimately result in feeling really exhausted and overwhelmed. But that encourages this feedback loop where the product becomes the cause and the cause creates the product, whereby I'm overwhelmed and exhausted, so I'll come home and all I have the energy to do is go on my phone and scroll. But then because of that, I am really exhausted and overwhelmed and don't have the energy to do anything except sit and scroll. But it's also because of like the high amounts of dopamine constantly, and when your brain is like zapping all the time on that frequency, it just, like, my brain is so super dopamine deficient. Obviously, when you stumble upon something giving you so much dopamine, it's like a high, isn't it? and you just keep going back and back and back for more, you're then not able to do tasks which give you less dopamine. Like the constant blue light stimulation and all this dopamine then leaves you feeling really dopamine deficient. Even more so. The brain is really vulnerable and susceptible to like the gambling slot-like machine algorithms that have been built on social media, and the short-term, short-form content, the short-term gratification that is crack to my brain, you know? And it just keeps me hooked. Like most people with ADHD, most people without ADHD, it's just how these things work. As I've spoken before in previous videos, I will go off social media. I'll go off of it for a year. And by social media, I mean everything but YouTube. And I will be off of it, and my life will be so much more fulfilling, and I'm getting so much more done. And then one search and I can be sucked right back in, and before you know it, I'm spending hours on my phone again on Instagram, and it's just swallowing me whole. I don't think my brain is designed for balance. It is, but I have to really work out what that means for me. But at the moment, I've had to just delete Instagram again. I'm gonna just put it simply to you guys. I'm struggling to go for a walk. I'm struggling to shower. I'm struggling to cook a proper meal. And then there's the other things like going to the gym and whatnot. Despite me saying I have substituted the hobby, it's actually really hard to go to the gym when I'm experiencing such burnout and like just overwhelm and overexhaustion. So I'm in desperate need of a dopamine detox, removing so much stimuli, therefore moving away from an overstimulated state, and I can then return to the more slower living things. So I currently feel really shut down, a bit of a shell of myself. Try medication could possibly be a real way for me, but I am struggling to chase the doctors, and boy, they're not making it easy. I have sent an email, it bounced because they don't have an inbox or they didn't monitor it or whatever. I have tried doing so many application things on the site, and they keep sending me through the wrong medical summary form, one that is not compliant with the criteria of what they want, and obviously calling, there's so many queues, and then they just shut the phone line. So the easiest option, which I don't want to do because it kind of just wastes resources, the easiest option would be to request a consultation over the phone. They're very quick and good at those, and then in that I will explain exactly what I need. But I'm thinking this is wasting time, but also this is really essential to my life right now because my quality of life is quite miserable, and the mask is slipping. I am having such negative speak. I am so overwhelmed and overexhausted. My ADHD symptoms are so bad that actually medication could really be the answer for me right now. But in the meanwhile, I am just stepping away from caffeine, alcohol, sugar, processed foods, doom scrolling, blue light. I'm really, really trying to sort it all out. With the medication, it means no alcohol and no caffeine, which is good because I am cutting that out, or I have cut that out. As you guys may know, I don't drink alcohol, but recently I have been drinking again, and that's a little parallel as well, me being off YouTube and all of these feelings coming up, and I'm drinking. Not much though. I say drinking again, maybe I've drank like on 5 or 6 occasions in like the 3-month period. At a base level, like prolonged drinking then causes even more dopamine deficiency, and my brain is already dopamine deficient. For all us at ADHD is alcohol is not good. Before even getting diagnosed, I know that it didn't work for me, and I cut it out. And now I've got this answer. It's like, okay, that makes sense. Alcohol is just not for me. So yeah, I'm not drinking again. And caffeine, that's crept up this summer because I've been on a new secondment job, and there's a really nice coffee machine. But then with that, I've also then been buying energy drinks because I'm like, well, I'm drinking caffeine now anyway, and so on. And it's just a vicious thing that attacks my brain. So no caffeine. It's gonna be really hard because I do abuse caffeine just to get the bare minimum done, which I'm hoping the medication could replace. Things do just get a bit crazy. It does help me get things done, but not in a very streamlined way. So it's not the answer. And it brings so much anxiety, and then I have the worst crash ever. And I feel really tired. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not the answer. Anyway, the issue with not drinking is that my sobriety does upset people. Yeah, some people do back away, despite the fact that I'm just as fun, if not more, when I'm sober. The idea for people that I'm not enabling them is an issue. So thousands of light bulbs have essentially been turning on for me, and it's been a whirlwind. What I thought was maybe relationship OCD, I've worked out is actually just rejection dysphoria, and I am convinced that my partner hates me, and it's not right, then I have kind of relationship OCD tendencies, which I could have it, who knows. But what I'm saying is it makes sense, and also mixed with being highly critical. No wonder I'm always dissecting my relationship, and I've had to stop listening to things such as the girls' bathroom podcast, because it's constantly putting relationships under the microscope, and it did not encourage me to think positively about mine and only try to extract drama. And for people with ADHD, they like to cause problems because it's a dopamine hit. So I really just need to try and move away from consuming media like that. It turns out I'm not too sensitive, or I need to toughen up, or I just need to get on with it. It turns out that I am emotionally dysregulated, and I can't regulate my emotions as well as others. So I will bawl my eyes out over sad films, as well. The rejection dysphoria, someone could say something and I can really spiral. I can think that they absolutely hate my guts. But it does mean that things can snowball when I struggle to pull myself out of these situations, which is why having good friends is really important, who will let you talk and talk and talk and go over things so many times just to really try process what is happening, even though it seems like it's really negative and you're just being so negative. It's really important to have friends who can help you through that and let you speak about it over and over, let you ruminate and try to find an answer that doesn't exist, but also ground you a little bit and just help you through that. There's this one girl at work who I absolutely adore, and she just listens to my smack all the time, and I just really appreciate her. And I am the most overwhelmed, most overexhausted in the workplace, and she really helps me, and I hope that I help her too. Yeah, so it does transpire into obsessive thoughts and rumination, going over and over and over things, and also just gut-wrenching nervousness, i.e. anxiety, which is why so many women get misdiagnosed. But I have had to listen my entire life to people calling me overly sensitive, family, friends, and I have felt like a freaking alien, as if something is literally wrong with me, or that why do people not understand things the way that I understand it. Like, I was so fucking badly bullied in school. It was really bad. People were so fucking cruel. High school ruined me. It was really difficult. What I'm trying to say is it's been hard to feel like I've belonged, because people's brains just weren't operating the same as mine. That was until college, where I found all the neurodivergent honeys and I absolutely fell in love with them all. And then turns out in uni the same, and now I'm in a relationship with one. Like, you do end up attracting the people on your same wavelength, you know. But yeah, my high levels of empathy might be why my friends have always said I'm excellent at giving advice, and likely why I'm vegan and I don't eat animals. Sorry to go there, but could be. And my brain ticking so insanely fast could be why I'm excellent at problem solving. I honestly think that's my biggest strength. And like in uni, people would come to me with so many IT issues, complex IT issues, and I just freaking love playing around and like solving things, you know. That's where I hyperfixate, and that's where I really excel. But ask me to tidy my room, and that's another question. And the dopamine deficiency and impulsivity might be why I dyed my hair last week, because as much as I really wanted long brown healthy hair, boring, sorry, I could not do it. So here we are with red hair. Anyway, long story short is I am working so much out for myself right now. I have just decided that I really need to cut out sugar. I, without even realising it, have been abusing sugar. I have been getting coffees with caramel in, pastries, donuts, etc. at work to freaking pick me up, get me energised, but then I massively crash. And as a result, my hyperactivity and impulsiveness are really exaggerated. And then when I crash, my inattention is really exaggerated. And yeah, sugar really increases my ADHD symptoms. So yeah, I'm even moving away from that and making a real conscious effort to do so. I bought today a keto bar, and I've done all the Googling, and it won't spike my blood sugar levels, which will be really good. And I'm supposed to eat protein at the start of every day to maintain a more balanced mood and reduce irritability and whatever else. Anyway, I'm working it all out. If you guys are interested in being a female, have an ADHD, comment below. I mean, I'm not a professional, but if you feel as though you want to get an assessment done, and you want to know how I did mine and whatever, we can chat about that. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna do a lot more content surrounding this stuff, as well as my normal stuff. Don't go anywhere. But yeah, it's been a journey, and we're still on it. This is just the start. Life be hard. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like I've kind of just cut it in between. I have so much more to say on this topic, but that's what more videos in the future are for. Hey, Daisy, stay accountable. We got more work to do. Anyway, lots of love to you all. I hope that life's been blessing you nicely. Thank you for your patience. And yeah, I hope you like the red hair. Okay, bye.